Hi, guys. Good evening, and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host, Eddie, and in tonight's video, I will be discussing what I thought of part two of season one of the hilarious Netflix show Disenchantment. Part two of season one dropped earlier today. I just got done binging all of it, and as usual, I've got a lot to say. Now, before I go on and continue, of course, please be warned this is a spoiler filled season recap. Again, I will be addressing the entire second half of season one. So if you're currently watching it or you're about to start watching it, do not keep watching or listening to this video, as I will be discussing spoilers, characters, and plot details. So you have been warned. That being said, let's jump right in. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I did not think it was as funny as part one of season one, like last year when it first dropped. I mean, it was super funny. There were some moments where I was laughing so hard I had to pause the episode so I wouldn't miss any of the dialogue because I was laughing so goddamn hard, especially in the scene in the first half of season one when they give the elixir of life to the badly wounded knight with the sword in his head, and then he pulls the sword out saying, "My headache is gone!" And then the brain drips from his head and he falls over dead, impaling himself. See, that was fucking hilarious. And the moment that came closest to that in the second half of the season is when Derek is following Elfo, Bean, and Lucy to the bar. And he's like, "Oh, come on. Not all of us have elves who want to have sex with us." Or he says something like that about not all of us have an elf who wants to have sex with them. It was hysterical. That was like my favorite line of the whole second half of this season. It was super funny. I will say this. It might not have been, it was still funny. It just wasn't as funny as the first part. But I will say this. I'm very happy with how it began. Like, it instantly picked up where season one ended, where it was answering a lot of questions like who got Lucy in a jar. At first we thought it was that demon hunter guy, but it turns out it was Dagmar, Bean's mom, and aka the evil queen. And then it was also revealed that those two weird robed people were actually the brother and sister of Dagmar, the aunt and uncle of Bean, and those two and Dagmar are trying to make some prophecy come true that Bean is going to rise up as like a new dark ruler over the world or over Dreamland or something like that. Obviously, this will be something that'll probably be explored next year when they release the first half of season two, and then the second half of season two will be in 2021 as the official renewal announcement from last fall revealed. But overall, it was still very funny, and it was a good combination of animation, fantasy, and adventure. I thought, I described this show as Game of Thrones meets The Simpsons, and I'll still compare it to that. Because like I said, it wasn't as funny as the first half of season one, but season two definitely had some very funny moments and laugh out loud moments and just great character scenes. Like anytime when it's like Elfo, Bean, and Lucy all together, all on screen at the same time is always a delight. King Zog is hilarious. The prince who turned into a pig is super funny. I loved the guy who was short-lived, but he was like the simpleton who helped Bean escape from her mother, and he got a hammer in his head or something. I think I could have used, there's like that good fantasy story where we got a bit of a tease as to Elfo's heritage or the mystery as to who or what he is when they went off into the land of the ogres to retrieve the berry that would make the elves heal and not get so sick from the dirty the dirty clothes water that they were washing and drinking from. God, it's nasty. See, it was still funny. It just didn't feel as funny as the first half of season one. I'll tell you this much. I hope in season two next year that we get to see what they teased at the end of the first half of season one, which was, Dagmar had a whole pirate crew of a multi-species crew of orcs, ogres, trolls, and some goblins and something like that. Just a bunch of different fantasy creatures that made up this makeshift pirate crew as they set sail for Maru. But we didn't really see them that much. In the first episode, they landed Maru. And we didn't really see that much after that. However, though, with the ending where it was revealed that she has like this massive army of like what seems like possessed or like mind controlled elves or trolls or something, obviously she's not that far behind. So they're keeping the storyline going, like regarding Bean's like destiny or prophecy or whatever it is. But it answered some questions while raising a few more. They teased a little bit of Elfo's heritage, but I'm hoping we'll learn more about it because it was implied there that he might have been half ogre, or maybe he's definitely half of something else, of like a taller, bigger species. But you know what? It was a funny show. I got what I had expected to see. I guess I would have preferred a little bit more like fantasy mixed with humor, where in this case it was more like episodic and the episodes weren't as connected as the first half of the season was. But hey, that's just me. All right, guys, what did you think of the part 2 of Disenchantment? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you expecting more, expecting less? I want to hear your thoughts, opinions, and your feedback down below in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Disenchantment Season 1, Parts 1 and 2 are now streaming on Netflix. Season 2, the first half, drops next year in 2020, and the second half of Season 2 in 2021. Have a great rest of your night, and of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.